Hey guys, kind of thought Shakedown Street by the Grateful Dead would be a little fitting for this. I have not done a video about The Walking Dead, and I would love to do the actual reactions to the episodes along with some other shows that I really enjoy, The Magicians, Game of Thrones, a ton of stuff out there. The problem being is it's I don't quite have the equipment to pull off that hour-long recording, or hour and a half, like the finale. Now, I've mulled over doing this for a while, but the fact that my kids aren't here, and I don't have a soundboard to throw the conversation about The Walking Dead towards, led me to you guys. If this is well received, if you like it, comment and hit the like button, and I'll do some more. Hopefully by the start of season 8 I will have a camera good enough that I feel comfortable doing it, because I'd also like to do Fear of the Walking Dead, and but there's some things I want to talk about. This will be just primarily about the finale, and maybe a second video I'll come back and talk about all of season 7. First and foremost, I don't think especially a lot of fans, don't quite understand the logistics of what The Walking Dead pulls off, and how much their success has really constrained them even more. One, converting graphic novels, comic books, well, for that matter, converting novels into live action television movie, it's not an easy task. Look at all the Stephen King flops. Green Lantern, the third Spider-Man movie, Ghost Rider, all the attempts at Fantastic Four. So I give them credit right off the top for just pulling this off. And you also have to consider their budget. 16 episodes, and trying to balance that budget over that, and especially like this finale where there's so many extras and so many lead actors like Ezekiel and Jadis and Negan, and of course all of the people that are with Rick's group. It's a phenomenal balancing act between what you can put on and the CGI for a tiger. Okay, come on. They have to balance all of that with keeping the story flowing. Sorry about that, I had to stop for a second. I was saying that's impressive, balancing all that. So I give them great credit for everything they pulled off. Now, starting with Sasha in the beginning, and it was a little disjointed, before the title scene came on. And if you didn't immediately comprehend that she was someplace dark with headphones on and legitimately she was dying, it took a second, and actually for most people it took a couple of the flashbacks. More of what I give AMC, the producers, the entire crew credit for is using Donny Hathaway. There's so many correlations between him, not just in the music and Someday We Will All Be Free, but with his real life and Sasha. He died of suicide in his early 30s. Sasha in the show was in her 30s. He was having bouts of schizophrenia, delusions, And towards the end there, she was starting to have flashbacks of Abraham, and the entire thing was perfection. Now, to me, I think they could have done with one less flashback, but still, it worked out well. And the statements and the attempts that were made, and understanding that those flashbacks were just before the season opener, and how it related throughout the entire season to this episode, and her statement to Eugene that she hadn't given up on him yet. I have issues with Eugene, but after she took her own life, I don't know. I see that affecting him. Of course, you've got the cut to the little homemade prison cell, and Dwight getting the Bowie knife to his eye, and really, you have to understand him. And most people, you're either going to hate him or feel sorry for him. And I truly have remorse for him. I mean, he tried to do what was best for his family, the same way that Rick does, the same way that other characters do. And we tend to root more for Rick and his crew because that's the story we're following. But the thought that we now suddenly have, or Rick suddenly has, a semi-inside man with Negan, and Negan knows some of what's going on because of his little birdie. I thought the bird call by the Junkyard Gang, the Garbage Pail Kids, to communicate was a subtle hint that they were the ones. And them rolling up on bikes and in trash trucks, just a great image. And of course you have Jadis asking to lay with Rick after it's over, and you have to wonder, I wonder if they would have said yes if things would have went differently, if she would have gone with Rick's crew because she wants him. It's that decision, is it the 10 or 12 people or having the person that you want? It's a toss-up. There's so much that went on. I mean, it's impossible. This is going to be probably a 10 or 15 minute video, and I won't touch on half of what I want to questions about and talk about. When you see the shopping carts and Carol's leading the charge and weapons up and seeing her in that military form again, and then watching Morgan step out with the small body armor on, knowing where it came from, and immediately feeling that hit, that he's battling, because that's a flashback to the loss of his son, and I'm amazed that he can even come close to keeping his sanity. And of course Ezekiel, the writers for his lines are fantastic. The language is extremely high level, and it fits his character, and it's just perfect. Never thought I'd hear the word capricious in a zombie TV show. And of course you get the first shot of Shiva, and it looked amazing. It looked very much like a real tiger. Whoever did the CGI, they spent a good portion of their budget just on the scenes that she was in. Now, I have an issue with the setup of the explosives. Rosita is supposed to know, one, why would you leave it to chance when you don't know those other people? Why not let Daryl and Rosita do it by themselves before they get there so that they're the only ones that know? But then again, that's not, doesn't tend to to be Rick's style for the most part. He trusts until you prove him otherwise. And then, of course, Eugene and the I'm Negan. I kind of feel bad for him just because, you know, just from everything that he went through, you know, he tried to be a hard ass, but he's a wimp. He's a highly intelligent, save his own skin wimp. And then you finally see, as they pull the tarp off, you understand that Sasha's been inside of a coffin. First thought in my head, even before she took the pill, was, you know, those things, especially that's a metal coffin, those things are pretty much airtight. And then you get the flashback, and of course, her and Abraham, and you know, you do this for other people. You put your big meaties on the line for others. And I really don't think that she could have gotten a better death in this show than what she got, unless, of course, she actually, you know, bit Negan in the arm or something and they had to chop it off, which would have been way away from the comics and, you know, just pushing the story way too fast. Now, I take issues with the first scene of the Michonne fight because it really wasn't cut very well and it looked kind of sloppy. From the initial point throughout the rest of it, it was fantastic. But that first scene where, you know, it's kind of like the guns getting thrown over, it just didn't feel real. I said there's so much, you know, and then of course Carl pulling his John Wick, seeing him become more, he was already a man, he's never really been a boy, but seeing him step up and become, you know, more of someone like Rick or Negan was an important step, an important move forward. The next thing that I take a little issue with is, you know, Rick getting shot where he got shot through the hip. And there wasn't very much blood loss. And of course, Jadis pushing him down off of the wall. I'm sorry, there had, you know, did he land in a patch of bushes or something, because there had to be some damage done from that high of a fall. I mean, he's already shot. Did he try to catch himself? Should there have been a broken bone or something there? Still a great scene, and of course, you know, her saying, I told you down, treating him like a dog. And fast forward, of course, to the lineup. Sort of a flashback and homage to the opening episode. And perhaps one of the greatest moments for me in this series was Rick's little speech and the "you're already dead." To see him back to that point where he knows to save the larger group, to save his friends, the rest of his family, he's going to have to sacrifice, and he's willing to do it.